The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. The William Pace Show, asking the questions you want to ask, getting the answers everyone wants to know. It's a new season of the William Pace Show. We're raising the bar with more commitment to educate, inform, encourage, inspire, empower, and help you have your best life. Everyone deserves to have their best life. I'm just staying the course. Here we go.
Good evening, I'm William Pace. Thanks so much for tuning in the William Pace Show. Tonight, my special guest is Betty B.J. Christmas. Good to see you, B.J.
Good to see you as well, Mr. Pace. Thank you for having me.
You bet. I want to tell the viewers, how God can connect people. I was working on a problem with another one of my professions and so forth. And we met through that. And through that, we became connected through God. And it's just interesting to see how God can connect people together for the greater good. So good to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I understand that soon you will really release a book. Is that true?
That is true. And yes, my book is called Stages of Grace, Kept for a Reason. Mm-hmm. And it is an inspirational biography of my life. It is broken into the life cycle of a butterfly. So it's broken into 4 stages. And each stage has a breakout, various chapters leading up to basically sharing what my life has been from beginning stages to the caterpillar stage, to the chrysalis stage, and then the transformation of the butterfly.
So 4 different stages then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In reading, I understand your material. I understand that you had a very difficult childhood life and that some of the trauma that you experienced in your childhood is the basis for this book.
Yes, sir. I, at the age of 5, I was born in New Jersey, and my parents, they were from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We would travel back and forth between North Carolina and New Jersey, visiting family. And then when my parents decided to move to North Carolina, starting at the age of 5 years old, back in the day, kindergartners, when you're in school, you didn't stay in school for the full day. So the school bus would drop you off early before the rest of the students would get out. But I encountered my first session with molestation at the age of 5.
The age of 5
years old, yes, sir.
What did you think was happening?
I don't know. At that age, you don't, because
you don't know.
You're around people that you love and you trust. And this was my great-grandfather. And, knowing him and loving him, I didn't know what to think. I just know it didn't feel right. And so after about several times, I remember it happening several times, but at one particular time, the bus, true to form, dropped me off. But instead of me going in the house, I waited for the bus to pull away, and because she had to go down and drop off other students. And when she turned around and came back, I was standing by the roadside, and she asked me what was wrong. And I said, nobody's home. But I never went in the house. I knew he was there. I just did not want to go in. And so from there, she drove me back to school. Mm-hmm. And I had a conversation with my sister, and we discovered, it was happening to both of us. And so that was the beginning stages of it. And my mom, we told her, but she didn't. The way she handled it, she removed us from the situation. She never allowed us to be around him alone. So she didn't really confront it. I don't believe at that age, I don't remember, but I just remember we were never left alone with him again.
I see. Do you think that abuse still stays with you today, or have you been able to release it?
I've been able to release it, and this is the reason why I can talk about it now without crying. When I went to college, and this went on for years, between the ages of 5 to 12.
5 to 12.
From 5 to 12 by various
7 years of abuse.
From family members and family friends. And I did not remember all of it because it's like I blocked it out until I went to college.
The pain from the experience was so traumatic that you just blanked it out.
I blanked it out. Yes, sir.
That's what I hear sometimes when people, and that they don't remember that being molested till later in life. And then they have like a flashback that, oh yeah, this did happen to me.
And that's exactly what happened to me when I went to college. That's during the time that a very famous talk show host came out with her story about being molested. And I was in college, and my degree was in psychology, and my college professor, she invited this lady to come in our class to speak of being molested. And she came Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So when she began to speak on Monday, I'm thinking to myself, this sounds really familiar. But I kept listening and just something was nagging at me. She came back on Wednesday and she's still talking, and I felt really full of my stomach. Like I just wanted to cry, because I kept seeing flashes. And on Friday, the final day, she was talking, and it just rushed up in me. The feelings just rushed up in me. And I just ran out of class crying. And after class, my professor found me, and she told me to go pack some things. And she took me home with her over the weekend.
So you had just been pushing this down and pushing it down until the information came out from another person.
Yes,
and
sir.
That made you to have a flashback to some of what you had encountered from the age of 5 to 12.
From 5 to 12, yes. And it was at that time when she took me to her house over that weekend, is when she was a renowned psychiatrist. And it was that's when she helped me to remember that over that period, it was 17 different people.
17 different
17 different people.
That you were abused by.
That I was abused by. And she said to me at that time, she said, I want to see the person you become, because the average person that has experienced what you experienced is not supposed to be sane. You're supposed to be an alcoholic. You're supposed to be on drugs. You're supposed to be a prostitute, very promiscuous, or locked up in a padded cell, looking one way. She said, but God has kept you here for a reason. And that's where I got the title of my book, because that stuck with me. And so God shielded me from that. That's why I said there's stages of grace. God shielded me from all the pain, from all of that, because I was still able to go around my family members and friends. I was still able to, communicate with them. And I held no hurt or no hatred in my heart, because I realized God really did keep me here for a reason. It had to be a purpose. Not really understanding what that purpose was at that moment. I was just at that time trying to understand how could this happen to a little girl who was innocent, who did not even know who she was, did not even know what sex was, have an understanding. How could this happen to me? I was one of those kids.
Makes me want to, cry, because, the word tells us we're to protect the children, you see? And more with Betty, BJ Christmas, when we return. Stay with us.
The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
Good evening, I'm William Pace, and you're watching the William Pace Show. My guest this evening is Betty B.J. Christmas. Thanks so much for being on the program, Betty. We were talking before we went to break about molestation and some of the experiences you had from the age of 5 to 12. And, yes, you know, I weep for the lost innocence. I weep for the lost innocence because, you know, you're just never quite the same, you know, as you were before. But, you know, God is a great healer. And
yes,
he can heal us from whatever that's going down in our lives that shouldn't have gone down. And many times through some of these traumatic experiences, we come out even stronger, you know, than we would have if we had not gone through them. So I just, you know, applaud you for wanting to tell your story, because by telling your story, you know, it will help so many other people who are struggling with the same issues and maybe think that nobody else had experienced this, you see.
Exactly. And that's why I believe the Lord placed in my heart to write this book. He gave me this book years ago, but it's just now coming to fruition. I just truly believe that there's so many people who this has happened to, who are stuck. You know, I didn't get away unscathed from any difficulties. I did have trauma. I'm realizing now I had so many trust issues. I've had so many very, 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 very low self-esteem. I don't think my self-esteem was on a scale. It was so low. And my trust issues, it was just not there because, again, those who were supposed to protect me, they weren't there. But even saying that they weren't there, I recall at one point I did tell my mom, and I told one of my mother's friends, and who actually told my mom. And so when it came out that my mom knew, she said, "Don't say it again." And she didn't do anything about it.
So your mother did not want to own that you had been abused.
Right. But what I now know and understand is that she could not deal with it herself because she too had been molested.
So there's a cycle.
There's a cycle. There's a family cycle. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a family cycle. So she didn't know how, and she did not. So I never blamed my mother whatsoever. I had not. My mom passed away 7 years ago. October would be 7 years. But I never blamed my mom. I knew she did the best she could with what she knew and what she had to deal with in her life, because partially her grandfather, which was my great grandfather, the one who molested me,
and he molested her.
Molested her. I'm sure he did, but no one ever talked about it.
I see.
And so, again, that's why I felt the need to just write the book. I don't write the book for, for sadness or for anyone to feel sorry for me. I write the book so I can share the story that this is really happening. It's real. And again, because there's so many people who's lost and stuck. They feel like they don't have any value. They don't have any self-worth. And I want people to know that because I got through it, because God allowed me to get through it. You too can get through it. You don't have to stay stuck where you are. It happened. It's sad. It's really sad that it happened, but you did nothing wrong. I had to realize I did absolutely nothing wrong. I was a little girl doing little girl things when this grown people thing happened to me. And so now that it has happened to me, what do I do? Do I just allow it to continue to control me like a puppet on a string? No, I have to just move forward and say, okay, it happened. How can I use this now to help other people? Because again, as my psychiatrist, my college mom said, God has kept me here for a reason. And
to tell your story. To tell your story. And
yes,
and there are so many people that need to hear your story, that are in private grieving, and by you coming forward and saying, this happened to me, will
yes,
free other people to just release it too. And then maybe they can become a part of the team. And maybe the more people speak up, you see, more people can be saved, people can be freed from this trauma and go on and live and have productive lives, knowing that, as you said, this is something that happened to me, but I don't have to own it, and I can just, dismiss this from my life as something that happened that maybe shouldn't have happened, and I can use it as a source, as a guide to help other people, or even maybe talk more about it, like in your book, to prevent other people from having this experience, and having inform other parents to maybe watch more carefully who they leave their children with.
Exactly. And that's one thing I always tell people. If your son or your daughter come to you and tell you that someone has been touching them, listen.
Believe it.
Your child. Just believe your child. Don't brush it off as to where the child is making something up. Children don't know this. Sure, children watch television, but they know when they've been touched. They know that something is just not right with this uncle or with this auntie that you trusted them with. So again, that's the platform on which I stand on. Listen to your children, believe them when they tell you something has happened. Because if you don't take care of it now, it could truly be detrimental to that child for the rest of their life, because not everyone can handle it.
Absolutely. BJ, I think that in the times that we're living in, we all need to be more aware of our surroundings, because, molestation can happen anywhere, not just in the home. It could happen in the school, anywhere, And so I truly do believe, by talking about it, as you are doing, that you can inform people more and help people to be aware that this is going on, and how to maybe keep an eye on this too.
Definitely.
More with Betty BJ Christmas when we return. You're watching The William Pace Show.
The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
Good evening, I'm William Pace. Thanks so much for tuning in the William Pace Show. My guest this evening is Betty BJ Christmas. Before we went to break, Betty, we were talking about the importance of parents watching their children, knowing where they are, and listening carefully to them if they say to them that they've been touched in an inappropriate way. Mm-hmm. Do you think more and more parents need to be aware?
Oh, definitely. Parents, again, need to have listen with that third ear, listen to what their child is saying as well as what they're not saying. because what they're
Yes.
not seeing is they begin to act out. And when a child begins to act out, chances are there's something wrong. I acted out. I was one of those that I had a very, very, very bright, wild imagination. And I would just lie about so many things, about anything, because it was an attention grabber for me. So if you didn't believe me when I was telling the truth, now I can just say anything, just to gain that attention. So that was acting out is a big thing. If your child is acting out for no reason out of the blue, chances are you need to just stop, take a step back, and listen.
Because that could be an undercurrent, something's going on underneath that's causing this rebellion or acting out or things like that. I want to talk a little bit more about your role as a pastor. I hear that you're a pastor, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm an ordained elder, and I have a nonprofit organization. It's called Butterfly Ministries for You. If you notice, if you get a chance to look at my book cover,
yes,
everything is about a butterfly for me. And the reason for that is because butterflies always came to my rescue. Whenever I would have episodes of molestation, a butterfly will always show up. Wow. So as I began to study her, I realized that a butterfly starts as an egg, and then she goes to a caterpillar, and then she goes into her heart places, the chrysalis, and then she develops into this beautiful butterfly. So the whole premise is that the butterfly does not look like anything she had gone through. Nothing like all the good, the bad, and the ugly. She's still beautiful. So looking at that caterpillar, no one ever knows that it used to be a butterfly because she had to go through a transformation process. So that's the reason why I believe the Lord gave me Butterfly Ministries for You, which is a 501c3 organization. And it's just a ministry of encouragement and inspiration. I do a lot of things just to continue to encourage and inspire people to live their best life, to be their best self. I currently have a clubhouse room that's called Breakfast, the number 4, the letter U, Breakfast for You, where I give these quick little nuggets to help get your day started. And so those are going very well. I've been doing this. I used to do it on the phone and send out emails every week. But as the Lord would lead me, he said, just start a clubhouse room because this is national, this is worldwide, and everyone needs to have the nuggets. And so I serve breakfast on a weekly basis. So that's part of the ministry from Butterfly Ministries for You, is Breakfast for You, which I serve on a regular. So yes, that's some things that I do for the Butterfly Ministries. I have little workshops where I invite people to come in. I'm always want to give back to the community. And like one example is hats. Thanks for the hats we wear. And so I would have people come and donate various hats. We donate those hats. We have a word of inspiration, a word of empowerment, and then we donate those hats to like a women's shelter. In her shoe is another one. We bring shoes, and then people donate those shoes to women in the community that need shoes. And then finally, I've done something called Hugs for the Holidays. And this is where people donate hats, undies, gloves, and scarves. And we collect those, and we give hugs for the holidays to primarily women's shelters so that they too can know that they're being thought of. Because when you're homeless and when you're running away from battered situations, you run away usually with nothing but the clothes on your back. We have people that are homeless or helpless at the moment. And so we want to give them something they can hold on to. So we give them hugs and a gift bag to let them know that they're being thought of. So those are just a few things that I am blessed to do through Butterfly Ministries for You. She's been established since 2005, and I'm in the process of relaunching her in North Carolina so that I can continue look out into the ministry. So between that and my platform with my book going on tour, I'm expecting great and greater things to happen because people need to hear and they need to be touched, and everyone needs a word of encouragement to get them throughout their day.
Absolutely. Now the book is out this fall. Give us the title again.
Yes, the book is coming out this fall, and it's called Stages of Grace, Kept for a Reason. And as I mentioned,
explain the kept for the reason part.
Kept for a reason. So if you recall, when I said that my college psychologist, my college mom, she said to me when she helped me to remember, her statement was that God has kept you here for a reason. And so that kept for a reason just means that everything I've gone through was all for his purpose, all for God's glory. My life is truly based on Romans 8:28. We have that in common, Mr. Pace, that all things work together for good to those who love the Lord, who are the called according to his purpose. Mm-hmm. And it just simply means if you're living for God, your current situation is working for good. So no matter what you're going through, everything has a purpose. Everything is a part of the plan that God has for your life. So don't discount or don't be weary with anything you're experiencing. Why? Because there's nothing missing. Nothing is ever wasted. Nothing. It doesn't matter. The trials or tribulation, it's all going to be used for something. And I believe that I had to go through and get through my go through so that I can help the next woman, to help the next man realize that they too can win. In fact, we've already won. Victory is already ours. So we just have to release our minds to understand that we don't have to stay stuck. We don't have to stay where we are. It happened to us. It's a part of our life. It happened. I'm not going to say get over it, but I'm saying don't allow your the people who traumatized you to win. Don't let them win.
Yes. You want to be the conqueror of the hostage. Yes, you want to be the conqueror of your situation.
Exactly. We're not victims, we are victorious.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, BJ, for being on the program. And when the book tour kicks off in the fall, would you come back again and give us all the dates and the cities? And
I sure will. I sure will, because again, it's coming out in the fall. I'm waiting on the marketing company to give me my dates. And this is just so exciting. They just reached out to me out of the blue and said that they love the book, they love the concept, and they thought it should be taken on a national tour. So of course I accepted that. So once they give me my dates to take it on tour and my book signings, I will come back. I will, so that others can know exactly where I am going to be.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I'll begin to have speaking engagements so I can just begin to share and help others know that their life does not have to be stuck.
And hopefully you can come to Ohio and have more of the Ohio experience.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to that. I was there just a few months ago at a women's conference where I was invited from a phone call, and the woman of God recognized something in me, and she invited me to come out to speak at her women's conference. And in fact, she has another one coming up in August, and she has invited me to come back out to minister at that conference. So doors are opening. I'm kept here for a reason. And Absolutely. So I'm going to tell it everywhere I go, how good God is, the goodness of who he is and who he has been to me, because he truly has kept me here for a reason. And it does not yet appear what we shall be, but in the end, we know that we shall be like him. So as long as I can fly and spread my wings, Mr. Pace, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to be that beautiful butterfly that God has chosen me to be.
And light up the sky, and people say, wow, you know.
The wow factor, yes.
Betty B.J. Christmas, thank you so much for being on the program tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pace, for having me. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you so much. There's more to come on The William Pace Show. Stay with us. The William Pace Show on CATV.